Hello, welcome back to another video in my Morgan three-wheeler workshop series. If you want to look at all the other videos and get them in some sort of order, then go down just below this video and click on the subscribe button and then look at playlists. That will show you exactly what's available. This video that I'm doing for you now is how to remove the swinging arm. You will need to remove the swinging arm if you want to change a drive belt, or if you want to service the bearings in the swinging arm. Subsequent videos in the same playlist will show you how to do that servicing, how to put it all back together, how to get it all lined up when you've done. As can quite clearly be seen here, the drive belt cannot be removed until the swinging arm is removed, because it runs around the bridge between the two halves of the swinging arm. I'll move around to the back of the vehicle, and there you can see it perhaps more clearly. The only way to get that belt off is to take out the swinging arm. When undoing the lock nuts on these trunnion pins here, this lock nut requires a proper C-spanner. Don't try and use one of the adjustable ones or some flimsy alternative. You need the real thing. It needs to be a chrome vanadium C-spanner. I have actually reground this one to be a correct fit, because most of them come with a couple of sizes put on. This one is marked up from 68 to 75 millimeter. I've reground it so it fits snugly round that 2-inch lock nut, and then with a long extension bar on it. And if you stand with your full weight on the end of the extension bar, bounce up and down, you will possibly get it to come undone. They are very, very tight and locked up with Loctite. Once you've got the thing cracked and it's moved half a turn, you can then put a 22mm socket on the end of the trunnion shaft itself, and with an extension tube you will be able to screw the whole thing out. But it's all very tight, all messed up with Loctite. I will show you a better way of locking these in position when we put them back in. Slip the bolts back into the top of the suspension units, and that will prevent the swinging arm from crashing down to the floor when you get the trunnion shafts pulled out. When the trunnion shafts are drawn back sufficiently far, and it's a long way, you can see the thread on both sides. See the other one over there, look. Then the swinging arm will just drop down and rest on the chassis member with something underneath, and I've got a wooden plank across here just to take the weight of the swinging arm. Right, comes out. Remove those two top bolts that we slid in just to support it, and you should then be able to pull the whole thing back and just rest it down on the ground. In them as well, it is now almost impossible to get these lock nuts free from the trunnion shafts. Despite copious quantities of releasing fluid, penetrating oil, call it what you will, this is still proving it. You can hear it now. I can tell you I'm going to be some time in getting this free, and it has to be free because, having screwed this in, you need a fairly delicate feel to get the preload on those taper rollers and then do the lock nut up without disturbing it. So you cannot put it back until you've got it free. There, now you can see the galled up mess that used to be the thread. I've managed at last to get this thing off with the use of heat, hammer blows, and lots of penetrating oil. Now all I've got to do is clean that thread up, some chance, and try and get the thing running freely again. The trunnion shafts are now fitted, and as you can see, the hexagon on the end of them I've drilled so they can be wired up to that little chassis member there that supports the petrol tanks. These things have caused me quite a lot of trouble with the stainless steel lock ring, which has seized, almost welded itself onto the stainless steel shaft. The thread is very fine, and you get this galling problem where the stainless steel sticks to itself. I think the biggest danger here is that the shaft could possibly become galled up inside the chassis member. It's a very long, fine thread, quite large diameter. It's 36mm in diameter, and it goes through the chassis. If you were to get one of these galled up inside the chassis, you would be in for a big job cutting out part of the chassis in order to replace it. My advice is, having got these things out, replace them with copper slip or one of those anti-seize lubricants. Don't over tighten the nut, and wire the end so that there is an auxiliary means of preventing the thing coming unscrewed, and it doesn't all rely on that stainless steel lock nut being hammered up really tight. As you saw from that little series of videos showing you how to get the swinging arm out, there are certain problems associated with the trunnion shafts. I can only at this stage tell you, if you're doing that job, take care. And the other thing we discovered, which you didn't actually see there, was that the corrosion resistant coating on the swinging arm was all shot and rust had started to set in. So there is another video in this playlist which will show you how to deal with the rust proofing inside and out of that swinging arm.